Hi everyone, welcome back to Write It While It's Hot. I'm Poppy, here to give you all kinds of tips, tricks and fun to help you along your writing journey. We have a nice little cozy video for you today because I'm going to share my favourite cozy, warm, Christmassy reads for you all. Now I thought I'd get this video out sooner rather than later to give you guys a chance to kind of get the books and read them before Christmas, but I'm kind of focusing on the classics, dare I say, canon literature in these books today, kind of books or novels you're going to recognise, and what I tend to reread and gravitate towards every year in a book that I know is just going to be thoroughly enjoyable and will capture the essence of the season. So if you guys want another video where I talk more about kind of all sorts of wintry, Christmassy reads, we've obviously got a lot more kind of rom-coms and even like spooky Christmas books that I don't talk about here, and even kind of like we've got the poetry, plays, etc. So if you do want another more in-depth video, I'm happy to do that for you guys. Let me know if that's something you'd want to see. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into my classic 10 out of 10 Christmas cozy seasonal books. I feel like we can't really do this list without A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, so we're going to talk about it first. It's kind of the ultimate Christmas classic novel. It's obviously the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, who's a miserly old man. He gets visited by 4 ghosts, not 3, because we have Marley, who's his old business partner, and then the ghosts of past, present and future. It's a classic story. Even if you've not read it before, you've probably seen the film. One of the adaptations, my personal favourite, is The Muppets Christmas Carol. I watch it every year on Christmas Eve. And it's the perfect mix of classic Victorian Christmas. I think Victorian Christmas is often what a lot of us think of when we think of quintessential, cosy Christmas vibes, but it also has that lovely spooky supernatural element, which we spoke about in my gothic spooky book recommendations video, and also I think some of my spooky writing videos, that is so common and perfect for this time of year, and it's actually a trend in the Victorian era and beyond to tell ghost stories at Christmas. So this is just a book you have to read, and there is no better time than at Christmas to read it. One of my favourite quotes from the novel is, "It is a fair, even-handed, noble adjustment of things, that while there is infection in disease and sorrow, there is nothing in the world so irresistibly contagious as laughter and good humour." And while it is a classic and everyone knows the story, what I love about this novel is it does have such a good message of having hope even in the darkest of times. And although Christmas is a happy time of year, it is also still a time of year, I mean, sadness and tragedy can strike at any time. I know that's quite a damper to put on a festive video. This book's message really can help you through if you're not necessarily feeling the most festive for whatever reason. Next book on my list is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Now, it's not necessarily a Christmas book per se, but it does open with the March sisters celebrating Christmas in a very modest way, and it kind of really perfectly sets the tone of a lovely, cozy read. You're going to cuddle up with a blanket and a candle and a cup of tea and read it. It tells the story of Meg, Job, Beth and Amy growing up and facing hardships. It's a great thing to sequel and celebrating the small joys and small wins of life, which I think is the perfect message to keep in your mind around Christmas time. A lovely Christmassy quote from the book is, "Christmas won't be Christmas without any presents, grumbled Joe, lying on the rug." And it's something about, you'll know if you've read it, but the love and resistance of the March sisters and their determination and relationships to each other through it all, that makes it the perfect story to revisit over Christmas and really be grateful and value your connections with your family and your friends. As someone that has a sister, it really resonates with me. And if you are craving kind of nostalgic, cozy, family-centered read, this is the one for you. Next on my list is Hercule Poirot's Christmas by Agatha Christie, and I read this every year without fail. I love this book. It's the perfect cozy crime mystery with a bit of humour. It's just, I love it. It's a classic murder mystery, but with obviously a bit of a Christmas twist. It's set in a country house filled with family tensions. A murder takes place on Christmas Eve, and obviously it's up to Poirot to discover who is the culprit. If you like crime, you cannot go wrong with any Agatha Christie, but it's just a perfect mix of a clever plot. It's not cliche, but it is perfectly cozy and nostalgic and festive. It's Christmas Eve, a season of goodwill, but it didn't prevent people from killing one another. Christie is a master of having a festive setting, but keeping it lively and suspenseful, and it's perfect for anyone who wants a bit of a mystery to unravel by the fire with a cup of hot chocolate. Next we have The Snowman by Raymond Briggs. Now this is a lighter, more nostalgic option for you all. It's just a beautiful wordless picture book that tells the story of a young boy who builds a snowman and it comes to life. Again, you've probably seen the animation of it with that, I won't try and sing it for you, but that soundtrack is iconic and it is just lovely, and it's something that I think, although I guess you can assume it's made for children, that as an adult or as someone older, you can really appreciate the beauty behind the illustrations and the story. Next we have The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, and it's another magical read I love to revisit at Christmas. I think a lot of what makes a good Christmas read or a good cozy read is a large element of nostalgia, and obviously a lot of these books we've probably either seen an adaptation of or read before in our childhood. And the Narnia series in general, I think, is actually such an overlooked children's book series. I feel like people kind of really lean on The Hobbit and Harry Potter and everything, but Narnia is so incredibly written and also has the great films to go along with it. Again, although this is not a strictly Christmas book, it obviously has the major themes of always winter, never Christmas, and then it is Christmas and they get all their presents and everything, and the beautiful sense of adventure, and again the relationships between the siblings partnered with the constant winter setting is just a beautiful, nostalgic, cozy read. Next we have The Polar Express by Chris van Allsburg. This is a magical, heartwarming story about a young boy's journey to the North Pole. It's all about believing in the magic of Christmas even as you grow older. So again, even if you read it or watched it as a child, I really recommend revisiting it if you do want just a lovely, magical, all the Christmassy feels. Seeing is believing, but sometimes the most real things in the world are the things we can't see. It's also beautifully illustrated and the story is just so touching. So it's a wonderful book to read if you're looking for those vibes and not necessarily wanting a super intense or detailed plot to follow. Going back to nostalgic childhood stories, we have How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. It's a rhyming classic. Again, you've probably definitely seen the film if you've not read the book, and wonderfully illustrated. Just, I feel like such a quintessential Christmas magical book about the Grinch and discovering the true meaning of Christmas, which I think is probably going to be quite relevant for a few adults if you're feeling you've kind of, for you, Christmas has lost the magical spark you had when you were a child. And last but not least, we have The Nutcracker and the Mouse King by E.T.A. Hoffmann. Again, this classic fairy tale of how the Nutcracker battles the Mouse King really captures all the Christmas excitement and enchantment and really reminds you of what it's like to be a child on Christmas Eve, and hopefully will give you a bit of that excitement back. So there you have it. Those are my top recommendations for classic Christmas reads. Let me know your guys' favourites in the comments, and obviously let me know if you read any of these based on my recommendations. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. And yeah, I wish everyone a very lovely start to the festive season, and I will catch you in the next video.